And I'm just going to tell the people real quick. Tell a little bird on the left-hand side, post to your Facebook. Let people know they want to be here today because Nazim has a great presentation I'm looking forward to watching. And if you have any questions, /Q, then a space, type in your question, and it'll appear in the question box over on the left. And if you don't understand what I just said, if you click the / bar and the send a message area down there, it'll bring up a little menu and it'll have the /Q. You click on that and you can type in your question that way. Okay, I'll keep quiet now. Stan?
Did you hold up your animated GIF? I was looking at something. Did you hold up your animated GIF for the questions? Yeah, Q. That's right there. That's how you do the question.
Whatever happened to the animated one for help? I kind of like that one.
we had too many people trying it, and it kind of disrupted the Blab team. So
you got a letter from the people at Blab saying, "Can you guys cut it out?"
And they were sitting around saying, every day at about 10:15, there's some kind of problem going over there with their Blab. I don't know what it is. So I'm going to say hello to Nikki. Nikki, everybody in here knows who you are, and we're looking forward to your presentation tomorrow, or presentation for how to brand Blab. And so I'm going to go over very quickly. I'm going to tell you that this Blab is about embedding a Blab, and it's about 15 minutes long. We have it's kind of fast paced. We want to give you the confidence to embed your Blab. We don't answer many questions from the audience at first. We show you how to embed a Blab, and then we discuss it. We ask that you hold all questions until the end, and we encourage you to join the Blab when there's an open seat. If you'll see now, there's not an open seat. There will be a little thing there where you can call in when it's available. The Circadians are a community that isn't built around any one individual. That's who we are. We create event-driven, outcome-oriented business building platforms like websites and events and things like that. For example, event-driven. This Blab is the event. Outcome, at the end of this, we want you to be able to go out and embed your Blab in website or Facebook or wherever you're going to do it. And business building, we hope that you'll join us. We have a Facebook group. We have a LinkedIn group. We're actually across all platforms. And so the rules of Blab, do you want to tell them what the rules of Blab are, Ron?
Well, let me look here, and I can probably tell them it's respect each other, honor the viewer's time, let others talk, don't be an awful person to be around, argue the point, not the person. The host sets the rules to the party unless they conflict with the rules. And the first three kind of tie in together is that if we open the seat and you get in here, try and ask or make your comment on topic. And when you do, when we ask you a little bit about yourself, then excuse yourself and let somebody else get in. Unless the host says, hey, stick around, then you stick around. The point that we always try to make here is argue the point, not the person. We can disagree with someone, and that's what makes the world go round, is we all have a point of view. And the correct way to do this is to say, I disagree with what you're saying. I have a point of view on that, and here's why I want to try and get you to look at my point of view. You don't want to say, you know what, I disagree with you. I don't like what you're saying, and I think you're an idiot for thinking that. That's not the way to make your point. So those are the things that we want to just mention to you on the rules of Blab that we kind of go by. And
just so that you guys know, that Ron had no idea he was going to be doing that portion today. I just like to throw I like to surprise everybody.
It's always a test. It's like, okay, check off the box. Okay.
This is the part where we tell you that one of the things that we're proud of is that we've been doing Blabs now for about 160 days. And that's the perfect example of the way that we work. is that if something drops off or somebody can't come in or anything like that, we know what we're going to do here. We're very focused on what we're going to do. For example, I know that my task is to introduce Nazim and to tell you a little bit about him. Is that the biggest problem I had was finding, he's in Italy, he's Italian, or he's actually an American living in Italy. And my biggest challenge was trying to find an image that I could put on our blab this morning where he wasn't so much more handsomer than all the other guys that were going to be in here. I didn't want to look like a complete goofball, but anyway, follow everybody in here. How you doing, Nazim?
I'm doing great. Thanks for that intro. So you did a little retouching in Photoshop of my photo, I noticed.
Yes, I did. Those big warts that were on the top of your head, don't worry about them.
They're gone. Anyway, I just want to say hello to everybody watching. I'm super happy to have been invited by the Circadians to do this presentation. I have a little bit of background in web design and doing websites, so this gets a little bit technical, but not too deeply technical in regards to how to embed a blab on different locations. If we're going to first look at, there's a link on the side that I had put before, because obviously in Blab we are still at the point where we cannot share a screen yet. Because if I could share a screen, it would be great, but I can't do that. So there is a link on the side for those who have seen it. Maybe I don't know if
I got it.
You got it. Okay. I put it in there also. Click on that, folks, and that way I'm going to go slide by slide, and we're going to look at the typical examples that I've selected today for how to embed a blab onto your website. First your website, and then we're going to end it up a little bit with Facebook. So slide number 1, it says, I don't know if you're open that, if everybody's open that. Type of 1 if you have, or type of 2 if you haven't. And what we have here is when you schedule a blab. In this case, thank you very much. Thanks. Fantastic. All right. Wow. I love this. All right.
Yeah.
Rock and roll. Okay. So you're going to see in the first slide that I have there, hanging out in the office. And don't worry about when you blow it up, it might be a little bit distorted, the pixelation, but we'll be able to read it pretty well. When you schedule a blab, the first thing that shows up is that you get the possibility of, I'm going to page number 2. Everybody go to page number 2. Of scheduling a blab, and where you have an embed code. And to get to the embed code, you have to click where you see the tweet bird and the post Facebook bird and the post Facebook. Right to the right there, there's a little symbol that is inside some brackets. And if you click on that, what you get is it pops up as the embed code. Now, this is an embed code that is the embed code for the current show that you've prepared. It also can be if you're going live or you're going down the road, you're always going to get this embed code. Now, what you need to do is select all that embed code. It's an iframe. And iframe, for those who don't know, is something standard in HTML where you are able to embed certain elements. It can be video, they can be a document, it can be other types of things. In this case, we're specifically embedding an address that Blab has generated on the fly from the Blab that you are creating at that moment or creating in the future. So, any questions? Is that pretty clear for everybody in here?
It's clear. I did want to make one note, is that for those people who are watching, there's a little expanded thing down there when you look at that slideshow. Mm-hmm. And if you click that, it will go to full screen, and you will still be able to hear him as he's walking through it. And if you're like me, you'll be able to see the screen that he's going through on this slide share.
Okay, great.
A lot easier.
Great. Now, let's go to, oops, something happened over here. What happened? Oh, boy. Okay, hold on a second, folks. Uh-oh.
What happened?
Are you guys seeing blank screens by any chance?
Yeah, I got one, but I refreshed, and it came right back up. After I refreshed, it came right back up.
Okay, sorry about that, because that's not supposed to be happening. Let me just.
Yeah, it's not happening to me now, but it did the first time.
Oh boy, I got it the first time on this, and I still have it on this screen. Hold on a second. What I'll do is I'll just open my presentation on this end. Bear with me 1 second, and I'll open the PDF. I have a bigger screen here, so 1 second. Sorry about that, folks. A little techno issue on my end.
Are you on screen 4?
I'm getting to screen 4, but since I had to jump onto a portable, I can't open. I'm having some issues today with my computer. Hold on a second. Hold on. Okay. Hold on 1 second. I am on screen 4. Okay. Sorry, but I am on the following page. And my computer is doing some strange things, but let's go to the page right after that. That should be okay, I'm here. Sorry about that. We are at a position where what you see is, for those familiar with WordPress, and please type a 1 if you are familiar with WordPress. If you're not, I'm going to explain a little bit. Perfect. Excellent. Wow. Okay. So what I've set up here is on an existing site, which is a Circadian site. I've set up a page where it's typically that you do a post or you do a page. You have your HTML information inside the page. You see how on that slide you see last night we went for ahead and there's some description. And the code that you embedded from the previous page that you copied, you embed it, you paste it inside this page in that position where you see iframe width 640, 385, and that same information goes right into that position. We are on slide number 3 of the 20 page of the 20. And I'm hoping that you don't get a white screen, because I got a white screen for 1 second. That's a slide. I think it's a slide share issue. Okay, great. So what's happening here is we're basically grabbing that embedded code, which is an HTML generated information from that Blab provides you with, and putting it inside whatever page, whatever portion. If you're familiar with WordPress, you might have a post. You might want to put it inside a post. You might want to put it inside a normal page of whatever blog you're doing or whatever sections of the thing you're doing. So now let's go on to, and what happens after that, if you go to page number 4, everybody on page number 4 for that PDF, when you save it and you regenerate it, in this case, I'm specifically inside a portion of the Casa Chiesi, which is a site that me and my wife are running. You can see the embedded code generates a Blab layout. There's a description there, and there is, in the case of this one here, I specifically input a different type of, that the embed that I have generates the image that you have. And if you click, obviously this is the PDF, if you click on the play button on your page, once you update it, your Blab starts. If it's scheduled for the future, I want to talk about that in a second. If it's a past Blab, it will start. Okay? So is that pretty clear to everybody? Type in a 1 if it is. 1, 2, 3. 1. Okay, so that's basically how to do it on a WordPress site. And you can put it in any location you want. You can put it on your blog page. You can put it on your project page. Now, there's a couple of things that might be of interest, but right now, since this is, I don't want to complicate things, Blab generates automatically 640 pixels by, I think it's 385. 640 by 385. You can play around with those numbers. If you know HTML, you can decide to change. You can do 320. You can half those two and make it a smaller area that is contained inside your page. But for today's intent and purpose, I just left it as that because I don't know at what level certain people are with HTML. But if you're familiar with that, you can change that number, and it will resize the size of your Blab. Okay, of your embedded feature. Let's go to page number 5, and page number 5 is a different example. If you are not working with WordPress, but from what I'm watching today, everybody's familiar with WordPress. You also can develop your own HTML code in your own site pages or whatever. If you're working without WordPress, if you're accustomed to doing things the old way of not dealing with automated backends such as WordPress, which is a CMS, a content management system generated website. You can also create your standard HTML page, and I've just on slide number 5 that we have here, it's a basic one, and you can embed in there the code also. Okay, so that lets you do a couple of interesting things that a lot of people are not aware of, in the sense that I have embedded the past one, but you can go to any blab that exists that's been recorded, that is available inside the blab environment. You can go and you can copy by going to that blab. If you go to the blab and you start watching it, you copy the URL at the top. And that is the address that, for example, today, if you look at the top of the screen, we have HTTPS blab semicolon 2/blab.im, the Circadians, and you copy the whole portion that goes all the way to the end of the title, and you can input it inside where it says your SRC code that you see there. I'm going to get to Facebook in a while. I'm going to get to that. So you can copy that, and you can basically grab any existing blab and show it on your website or on a specific web page that you are working on your own site. So, for example, if there was a very interesting blab that had Tony Robbins, which was recently, a couple of days ago, you can hijack that and record it address, put it in your code, and you can also do this in the WordPress example that we had on the page before. Right now, we're looking at a specific clean page, and you can, basically highlight any blab you want on your site. If you're a content provider that is interested in discussing certain important issues that people have discussed on blab, that's the way to do it. Okay.
And of course, by hijack, you mean borrow.
Borrow, yeah. It's not blabjacking. It's more
hijack.
Okay, so now let's go to page number 6. And if you look at the page number 6, it's just a basic HTML page, the one that we were looking at before. When you toss it in a browser, I did not work any text in it. That is what you see. You see exactly this window, and if you click on it, it will start your blab. So that is on a brand, you'll see at the top, it says Nazim Beltran desktop, because I worked it on my desktop. But if you upload that to a website, it will start the blab. And you can have, so you have two case in point, the two examples. One is WordPress based, which is what a lot of people are familiar with. Another one is just a simple HTML page that you can build off the fly, just like that, upload it to your website. And you can even create your own private page that is outside of the context of anything, post it on your server if you have a web server, and show something to somebody, or even schedule a future one and have it become a private. That's obviously it would show on Blab also at the same time, but you have an access through a window in a website. So, is there any questions up to this moment? I think, am I going too fast, or do we hold the questions for the end? We hold the questions for the end.
We pretty much hold the questions until the end, but I would I do want to recognize a couple of people. It was just for a second here. I want to say hello to Brandon Williams, who's a former Pittsburgh Steeler, 49ers, and Rams, and more importantly, he was on the Badgers, which is not a Southeastern Conference team. Because I'm Georgia SEC team, but I lived in Milwaukee, so I know who you guys are. So all the respect in the world for you guys, and then I want to. I think it's we have a Kobayashi Maru champion in the house too, who is Nikki Purvey again, who will be doing her presentation tomorrow. And now back to your regular scheduled program.
Okay. Now, on page number 7 of the slideshow, and it's only 20 slides, so we're almost halfway there. You see the result of that, looking at the code once you press the play button, the blab. And this is a recorded blab, a previous Circadian Blab from a while back that I just embedded in there. Now, you are not going to see, from what I remember, you are not going to see the comments on the right-hand side. Is that correct, Stan? I think that's you do not see. Yeah, and that is an issue with Blab. It is not an issue with your coding or with the way that you've inputted into the page. So just if you don't see the comments on the side, that is an issue that Blab is probably resolving. Now, let's go to page number 8. Okay, and page number 8 is just this similar to the example we had before, but in the case that you set up a Blab and you schedule it for next week, in the case I did yesterday, I scheduled this for 23 hours. You will also have, in this case, you can select the embed code from the top, but you automatically have that embed this Blab code at the bottom. So you just click there with your cursor, select it all, go ahead, copy it, and if you go to slide number 9, I did a test page, called it Future Blab. I did the same steps I did at the beginning of the first two things that we saw at the slide. I input it in a future post. I just placed the code in there. I put your text. I just typed your text. I didn't do any text for this. I launched it, and this is what you see in the case that you have a Future Blab. So the interface is totally different in the sense that with Blab already a played Blab, a recorded past Blab, you have that interface where you see the participants, you see the title, and you have the play button. In this one, you're not going to have a play button because it's scheduled for the future. It's scheduled for 23 hours and 55 minutes from the moment that you created it on your page or you launched it. So obviously, what happens here is it stays stagnant in that position, and when the Blab starts, it automatically starts in the page. But then it's your job to remind the people that want to go to your website to see a Blab, because some people might not want to come in to Blab through a Twitter account with all, those sort of issues. They might want to see it here, and they can see it this way, okay? So that is the example on slide number 9 of 10. Now, at this point, that's it for embedding on websites. There is a couple of questions, but I'll cover them. We'll cover them, and we'll probably bring the people in and then have them ask the questions on the fly. Now let's talk about Facebook. How to embed into Facebook. There's a couple of ways of doing it, and if you go to slide number 10, this is a very simple way of doing it in the sense that you can grab the same code that you had, and you can just toss it in there, and it will recognize it in this sort of form, which might not be the ideal way that you want this to happen. In the sense that, as you see, I did this was on my personal page. I just embedded that. You get the logo of the user, of your Blab icon pops up, and to the right hand side you have a title that derives from the Blab. But that is one way, a quick way of doing it. And then you can write your text, or you can add a photo beforehand and work it out that way. That is kind of like the quick and dirty way to do it. But I have to thank my friend Stan on this one. He taught me a method that I did not know about. So I'm going to go into that right now. Slide number 11. Is everybody at slide number 11? Just type a 1 if you are. I'll wait 2 seconds. We are going to use something else called Funderpenny. Where did they get that name from, Funderpenny? Stan, what do you think? It comes from a James Bond movie? I think it's a James Bond movie reference. No, that was a...
I don't know.
That was Moneypenny.
I didn't know you were going to ask me that question. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't part of the deal.
Okay, so there is something called Facebook.com Funderpenny, and the address, if you can see it at the top of the slide, it is an app that a corporation has built in which you can embed links or pages inside of Facebook. So it's not only applicable specifically to Blab, it's applicable to a lot of other options. In fact, one of my programmers here say, I'm familiar. That's how we do embedding in other sort of videos and information that we want, instead of going through the normal route of adding something through the Facebook interface. Now, what happens here, though, is that when you go to that address, and this is specifically for those people that want to embed straight into Facebook, you have to go, and they're going to ask you for security check. So that's the page that we're at. You're going to input that information. And then they're going to take you to this page, which is, it's kind of like it's the company's main page. But what they've added there, as you see, and I'm at slide number 12 for those watching, there is, you see where I've highlighted with red, use the app. Okay, so right now I am inside my Facebook profile. I went into this page. It says use the app. You select that button, use the app, and let's go to slide number 13. And what shows up is this fantastic static HTML iframe tabs. So it says how to add static HTML to a page. Now, in your case, I would recommend that, as you can see, I went in through my personal account. And so when it says add a static HTML to a page, because you have either your personal account or you have Casa Chiesi, in my case, or Solea Digital Producers, or different type of pages that you've created, when you get to this portion, select that add static HTML to a page on slide number 13. When we go to 14, it's going to take you to this page where it's going to ask you, please select the page where you want to embed your iframe. And in this case, as for the case in point of today, I selected Casa Chiesi. I could have selected Eating Heart, my wife's book. I could have selected Gem Design for Cruise Ships. It was dealing with cruise ship stuff. Or I could just select Park Media, which is Solea, which is both the other entities that I have for digital production and for website development. This case, right now, I decided to do Casa Chiesi. So what happens, let's go to slide number 15, is you end up on your page. And you end up on your page with the Funderpenny app, which they built an app that is right a layer on top of this page. So it says, set up the tab. You select set up a tab. And here what we get after you set up a tab is you get some sort of interface that kind of, for those familiar with WordPress, it reminds you a little bit of WordPress. And it's basically, they've generated a page. Forget about the name in index.html. That should not be a problem. Where they are telling you, please click in here, and you can embed forms, videos, you can embed tons of stuff. So this also is useful in other entities if you want to deal with embedding a website into a page on Facebook and stuff like that. You can do that from here. Now, for the case in point today, we are embedding our Blab code. So let's go to slide number 17. And what I basically did there, clean and simple, I didn't put any text in. I just embedded the code that we derived from the Blab, either generated future or past embed codes that we see inside the Blab interface. I tossed it in here, and I said save and publish. Now, there's an option, which is slide number, oops, sorry, okay. Once I do, I'll talk about the upload image in a second. Let's go to slide number 18. Once you finish doing that and you save and publish, there is an option, there's an option called preview. So I decided to go and do my preview before publishing. And this is what I see. It's aligned to the left, but it is already our Blab interface of the embedded content that we're going to be seeing inside your Facebook page. So on the preview, you might want to put some text around that. You can do that inside that previous window we saw. I just kept it nice and simple. Let's go to number 19. And I'm going to talk about uploading an image, because you can also upload an image with this. And to do that, you click on the upload image and you upload a JPEG. The recommendation is 111 pixels by 74, less than 1 megabyte. So if you know Photoshop, you save it for JPEG and it compresses it. But there is an issue here, folks. When you click on that upload image, it does not let you upload images because it says you need to subscribe to a $9 per month deal to cover all your image. And so I didn't do that. It's not that I'm cheap. It's just that I decided that it was not necessary.
Squeak, squeak.
It was for the case of today's demo. But if you want to put a cover that goes along with your embed that you go into Facebook, it lets you do that option. So you can customize those Blab calls that you do in Facebook. That is, I got to look at. Okay, so I did not put an image, and this is how it obviously looks without the image. Once it goes into there, and then it will center it, and you will have a title information. But at this point, I just left it at that. So this is another solution to how you can embed it inside Facebook directly, as opposed to what we started at the beginning, where you could just see the logo and the person. This is more directly the Blab interface, and it will start automatically when the Blab starts. And that's it for my presentation. I hope everybody loved it. Was I concise and precise? And
I think you did really good, man. I liked the presentation, and I learned something.
Okay.
I found out because while you were doing that, I took that code. I embedded the code over on the page on my personal Facebook profile, and that wasn't actually working. Maybe I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, you couldn't do it that way.
Wow!
And so I went over and did that. But when you put it in there, when you put that code in there, you can then go back after you post it. You can go back and edit that and take out the code. That's how you did it too. Cleaned it up by clicking on it and taking out the code and then putting in like your name, address, and phone number or whatever it is. And in my case, I put a big thing saying contribute here.
Exactly. So you can work around that. You can work around.
Yeah. So you work around that on that. Now I would tell you this too, is that you mentioned something. I'm going to post a code here. Is that I have one big question regarding Blab embeds. We're gonna let you come in here in just a minute.
1 second. And
is that if you look at this code, you'll see it says SRC equals URL. If you replace the URL with any web page, I mean, it doesn't have to be Blab. It can be any web page that is not blocking embeds. It will embed that wherever you put it. That's just and the other thing is where it says, if you'll notice the code, when you copy it, it says like height 480, width 640, which is kind of 16 by 9, 640, 480 code. If you change the width to 100%, it will fill the window, and it will also go to 16 by 9 on the size, based off of the size of the page. Actually, it's like a dynamic thing. But
exactly.
But that was good, man. You did good.
Thank you.
You did real good.
Yeah. Okay. Now, the only thing I was trying to do, somebody's asking about a sample web page, and you know what? My website is down, which is great. I don't know why my website is down right now, but because I
can fix that for you.
You can't fix that for me. A check is in the mail, right?
No, man. I take electronic transfers. I'm all the way up to the 1996.
No, because I think Peter wanted to see a sample web page and that I can look at this, how it looks at this embed. Let me just see what's going on with the site. 1 second, and then I'll get back. But in the meantime, let's bring some people in, and then I'll figure that out.
We're going to do the introductions. We're going to unlock the seat. We're going to ask Michelle to stop in, and Ron's already here. Michelle to come in, and then Nina and give us that we give our 30-second elevator pitches, and we say this is what we do and this is why we're here. And then so Michelle, who is like the best in the West, East, South, and North for keeping up with the links and everything like that. How are you?
I am well, thank you. That was fantastic, Nazim. I learned a lot. I did. Between what Stan has been showing us each week, every Wednesday, and what you just did, a lot of things when bells and whistles went off in my head. So that was really, really good. Really, really good. I did have one question. On Facebook, on your personal page, are you putting in the iframe code or the code at the top?
I'm putting in the iframe code.
Okay. And then later you just change the source from the top code, right?
Well, no. In the case, if you put the code, you put the code that you get from the embedded Blab. For example, if you're planning on doing it in the future, you put that code in there, and it will basically grab and feed it from that one. It will show that that countdown inside your Facebook, and then when it starts, and people will see it. If you grab the code, you steal the code from, or not steal, borrow the code from any other Blab, you can put it in there, and it will, substitute it, and you will see a past Blab inside that window, inside your Facebook.
That was great. All right. That's all I'm going to do today. Tomorrow I'll do more stuff on me. But
so wait. You're an advocate for?
Dementia support and awareness.
Okay. And do you want to tell anybody where they can connect with you on that?
You can just go right to my profile, and you can see the link. That's to Memory People. It's there. Click on it. It's a private, closed group, 13,000 members, started by a patient for dementia support and awareness for family members, patients, advocates. I mean, 50-50 chance that anybody here, there's somebody in their family dealing with this disease. No cure, no prevention, no treatment. So all we have is each other right now.
Well, thanks.
Peace.
And now we're going to ask Nina or Tony, whichever one of y'all's fingers is the fastest, to pop in. Nina. Nina was sitting like this.
No, I'm born like this. My first name was Cat because I'm very fast. Nazim.
Yes.
It's been 1 year since we first met.
I know, Nina.
Or maybe two, I don't know. I don't remember. It's
maybe a year and a half, probably, on Google Plus. Yeah. That's correct.
You remember I told you we are going to do a conference? Do you remember?
Yes.
So here we are.
That's great.
I could imagine that we can be together and work, and it is happening very fast. Even without coming to Milan, we just come to Milan for pleasure to meet you.
Fantastic, great.
I'm very happy to be with you here. So my name is Nina. My blog is ninatrank.com, and all my profiles have the same name. And I'm translating what Nazim just did to businesses that they don't know this language. So my job is and I'm passionate about functionality, productivity, efficiency, all standard business things that can result in a better business, better life, better relationships. And joy, that's my mission. Okay, thank you, and I hope to see you again.
And she always brings a big smile to everybody that talks with her. By the way, she's just a great, wonderful person to.
Yeah, because you see me in all time zones.
Yeah, that's true. 24/7.
Even when I have these eyes.
Yes. Yes. You got to get used to it.
Regards at home, Nazim, and thank you, everybody.
Bye,
okay,
Nina.
it is Duvaz Dene. Duvaz Dene. I think I did that right. Tony, you want to tell us about you? And then we're going to get to my internet scout. We're going to ask him to come in and ask his question. Hey, Tony.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you this morning?
Great, man.
Nazim, thank you so much. This was really good. I appreciate it. I enjoyed it. It actually, it helped me with some of the things that I've actually learned from Stan. And so it worked together. And so I'm really happy about it. I want to thank you guys.
I'm happy you liked it, Tony. Listen, this is on the side for Peter. I don't know if he's going to come in. I put the link to to a sample web page that I was able to recover the site in 2 seconds. That's what I do for a living. So, and there is that example of the past of an Italian blab that a blab that my wife did. One of the few blabs my wife said. I had to drag her by gunpoint.
He's gonna have to do a couple sometime because my daughter's coming over there with 4 of her photographers. Yeah, I know. And they're gonna do these Italian weddings, and there's all sorts of things so you have to do a blab from the Chiese while she's over there, man.
We will do it, my friend. We will do it.
Yeah, they're looking forward to it. So Tony, tell us about you.
I'm a type 2 diabetic for over 7 years.
Were a type 2 diabetic.
And so the good news is I am now 95 days without diabetic medications.
Right.
I've lost significant weight. I am a lifelong learner, and I have had the opportunity to become a circadian, enjoying the ride, learning a lot of good things. My life is happy, and that's what I wanted to share. This has been so beneficial and so uplifting and encouraging. I am happy to be a part of this community. I'm looking forward to learning more from you, Nazim, and also continuing to continue to develop these great relationships that I have built as a part of the Circadians. And so I'm looking forward to the future. And so just want to say, keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Enjoyed this. Ron, always good to see you. Stan, always good to see you. And I'm going to move to the side and give someone else a chance to come in. And I'm just happy about this journey that I'm on right now. And my life has just improved so dramatically. Life changing and shaping for me at this point in time. So thank you again, gentlemen.
Take care, Tony. Great seeing you.
And I'm going to it's great to seeing you, Tony. I'm going to invite Internet Scout in right now before somebody else jumps in, because he did have a question.
You got Chef.
I don't know if he can here. Yeah, Chef's here, who's going to be doing a show here in a couple of weeks. I want to get Internet Scout's question.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Peter,
man.
how you doing, man?
Good. I really appreciate what you're doing here. This is probably one of the best Blab demonstrations I've seen. Setting it up. I personally love Blab. I use it I wouldn't say a lot, but I use it regularly to teach people about WordPress. I have a WordPress meetup here in San Jose. I have on Blab every so often. So now the big question I have for you guys is embedding Blab. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but it will add 3.9 megabytes of overhead to your web page when you embed it.
That's a very good point that you brought up.
I just took a look at both of your pages that were given with embeds. I found this out about a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago now. And for one of my clients who want to embed a Blab conversation on their homepage. Right. Usually homepages are pretty complex to begin with. They have a lot of media. And so I put it on there, and it was just dogged their homepage big time. And so I took the Blab and translated it and uploaded it to YouTube and downloaded the YouTube video. And the YouTube video of the Blab is now embedded on their homepage because it just took like 23 seconds to download. Mm-hmm. So do you guys know of any way to reduce the overhead of these embeds?
Nope. This has been a discussion that we had. I had a while back with another person we were looking at this, and he says, that's not the approach. I mean, if you start filling up your sites with all these Blab embeds, you're going to slow it to a crawl. So what you did is the workaround of doing it with a YouTube video is ideal. You're showing the same content, and at the same time, now one thing is, I think when you go to a live event, then you can like put it in the future, and you can have the users that don't want to use Blab come in and look at it, and then you just decide to substitute it with that file that you're recommending. I think that's the best approach. I do not know of any other way.
Look at the two examples you guys gave me.
Mm-hmm.
And just the simple one at Casa Chiesa. That one was like a 7. I mean, it's the most simple page you could have on a. It looks like a WordPress page.
Yeah, it is
7.0 megabytes.
Yeah.
And I just I wish they. That's why I asked if there was any Blab employees on this. Maybe they'll see it after it's recorded. But I'm pretty
sure they're aware of this issue, and now
they know about it.
Yeah, a solution for it.
We've
got. I can tell you that we've got 150 something Blabs. I mean, we haven't missed a day now. It's probably in 160s now, and so we haven't missed doing something on Blab about how to use. Way our schedule is how to use is Monday how to use, Tuesday is how to host, Wednesday is how to embed, Thursday is how to brand, and Friday is casual day. That's the only day you see us not in ties. And
forgot my tie.
And we've only embedded maybe 10 over there on the site, because it's although it's very easy to pump it up to YouTube, we got a small group. We don't have time to do all that stuff. So
let me ask you
here's how it works.
Let me ask you a question, Peter. When you did this, did you recompress the file, or did you just grab the straight product that you get from Blab and uploaded it to YouTube?
I just used the iframe that they provided.
Okay.
And
Because
so
another
it's,
technique would be playing around with video editing stuff and getting it even more compressed, but you have to see the value of how important it is to show that blab. In fact, on Kazakhstan, I only have one blab because,
Well, I hate to interrupt this because but I just saw, you saw the police report there, didn't you,
the
Ryan?
dog, that's a new dog you got. Right?
Yeah.
That's the police report we got over there about keeping on schedule and everything like that. And Peter, we appreciate
guys,
you being here and everything like that. But
thanks, Peter.
We're not employees.
Keep the rest of us up to speed when something does arise, a workaround or fix with Blab. I appreciate it.
Okay.
I'd love to have you join us at the Circadians too. We'll put a link in there too. We've got Facebook and everything.
Before he goes, real quick question: what do you feel? What's your impression of the platform?
Wait, you just cut out.
Yeah,
you cut out. Say that again.
Peter, you still there?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted your impression on Blab. What do you think of?
I love Blab. I think it's great. Obviously, it says up in the left-hand corner, it's still in beta. It's great. I love it. I wish we could get presentations on,
I don't know. They're going to do it pretty soon. Their slide share thing, they're going to do it very soon, from what I get.
Oh, great! That'd be awesome. No,
I saw Brittany did a preview where she was doing the window I'm in. It goes and takes all 4 windows, and you can bring it back up and down. So you can have a third window where you can do, and you put in there the slide share or whatever you want to put in there.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Thanks.
I hate to break this up, but we deliver on a promise, and we're already past that promise.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to promise one thing. I'm going to say hello to Robert Stern, and I'm going to let everybody know he's going to be here, and I think it's next week on how to brand. And if you want to learn something, we've got a great bunch of presenters coming this month. We've got Eileen Smith is going to be here.
Chef Dennis.
Robert's going to be. Chef Dennis is going to be here. Sue Zimmerman's going to be here. Dustin Stout's going to be here. We got a bunch of great presenters, and it worked out exactly like we said because I learned something from Nazim today, and I appreciate that, man. I really do. He knows I like him and love him to death anyway, but I said that publicly, and I'm from the South. That's not supposed to happen.
All I want to say is
get out of here.
If you liked what you saw today, stay tuned for the month of February and beyond because we're going to continue this. And you just want to follow us. And if Michelle, if you want to post the link where they can follow us, and we will see you tomorrow on how to brand a blab. And on Friday, it's Casual Friday. Nazim, thank you. Excellent presentation. Enjoyed being with you again.
Happy Take care. Bye-bye.
What I'm going to do now is I am going to stop the recording.
Thanks for watching. We hope you found this video helpful. The Circadians are a concept community. Our community isn't built around an individual. We live, work, and thrive in a guru-free zone getting stuff done. Everyone is equal, everyone matters, and everyone has their own special gift. The sum of those gifts is greater than the individual. We create event-driven, outcome-oriented business-building platforms, broadcast, websites, content, training programs, and more. And every day, we have a daily Circadian clinic where we get stuff done. If you would like an invite to that, send an email to stan@thecircadians.com. Thank you.